Hey, in this video, I want to share a few things that you can do to help grow your video podcast quickly. All right, let's get straight into business. All right, here's number one: collaborate with other creators in your niche. Collaboration over competition is the mindset that you need to have with this first advice. Partner up with fellow creators in your niche and invite them, reach out to them, and bring them onto your show. Collaborations can introduce your podcast to a whole new audience and offer fresh perspective to your existing audience. Here's one of the best parts of doing collaborations. After the podcast, take some time to create short clips of the most interesting and engaging bits of your podcast and share them with your guest so they can also post it on their social channels in their communities, which can then drive listeners and viewers back to the full-length video podcast on your channel. And here's the bonus when you do this. When you invite other creators to your podcast, there's a really good chance that you might also be invited back to their shows as well, which then opens you up to a whole new audience even more. Number two, promote on social media. This is probably not something new to you. This might come off as a reminder to do this. Maybe you're doing so much of the podcast publishing and creating so much content that you actually forget to take time to then promote it on social media. So here's what I would suggest. Create short teasers and highlight clips from your podcast episodes and share them on social media, on IG Reels, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and other social channels that you're active in, and drive awareness back to your newest episode that then drives views back to the full episode. And don't just stop there. Don't just post and then forget about that post. Make sure that you're engaging with your audience on your social platforms to create interest, to add value with your audience, and invite them to tune in to the full audio or video episode on your podcast platforms or on YouTube. Number three, this is again a bit of a reminder that you should be engaging with your audience. Building a community is key for a successful podcast. Sometimes because it is a podcast, it tends to be a one-directional thing. We forget that we are building a community around our podcast, around our shows. For example, if you have a podcast on YouTube, then make sure that you respond to the comments. When people leave a comment, they're taking time to leave a message, feedback, request, a thought, a question. Make sure that you are replying to those comments. Ask questions in your podcast episodes and invite your audience to send you those questions, those recommendations, those suggestions or requests. Maybe if it's not in the comments, invite them to send you a DM on your other social platforms. So for me, my podcast is published both on YouTube, and so there's a video version. There's also a video version on Spotify, but I also send all my podcast episodes to all the audio platforms for podcast listening, and so people may not be able to leave a comment. And so I also try to make sure to say and invite the listener and the viewer to then send me a DM through LinkedIn or Instagram where I'm most active. That way they can send me their thoughts and I can hear and I can build community that way as well and engage with them in that fashion. This can be a really simple motion that you can do for every episode, to just simply invite people to send you a DM, send you a message. Some people may not think that, hey, I can do that. I'm not sure if Rob or you will respond to my comments or my DMs. But if you let them know, like, hey, please send me your questions, send me your feedback, your request. Who should I have on, or what do you want me to talk about in future episodes? What questions do you have for me that I can answer in future episodes? Make sure you send me a DM on LinkedIn or Twitter or X, I guess that it's called now, or Instagram, wherever you want people to DM you on. And even one step further, I actually leave an email address that people can email me into in the descriptions and the show notes of every episode. And this, again, is a very simple motion that you can do for every episode, but it goes a long way in fostering a sense of connection that keeps your audience to then keep coming back. Number four, now this one is a bit more of a practical and strategic thing that you can do, but make sure you're optimizing your video titles and your thumbnails. Packaging is so important when it comes to your video podcast. If people don't like your packaging And in this case, with video podcast, the packaging is the thumbnails and the title. So make sure that your video titles are clear, it's concise, and it's intriguing. They should tell the viewers what to expect, but also create a bit of a mystery that makes them curious to then click and watch and listen to your podcasts as well. Now, as you get more complex and more sophisticated with your strategy, with your thumbnails, you may want to test different thumbnail styles. Thumbnails should be very eye-catching and grab attention. And so you may want to test a couple of different things. There's lots of great tools out there. TubeBuddy is one of those tools that you can split test thumbnails. YouTube actually allows some channels now to split test thumbnails as well. And you also may want to split test some of the podcast platform thumbnails that you are using for each episode. Number 5 is a bit of a pro tip, all right? So my number 5 tip is record your podcast episodes live. Maybe as a live stream on either YouTube or LinkedIn Live or Facebook Live. And guess which tool can help you do that? Yes, StreamYard. StreamYard can help you do that. And so you can record your live streams live. You can even have your guests come on there. And when you record it live, it allows you to connect with your audience in real time. And again, build community in real time. You're also able to generate a lot of buzz around your podcast episodes this way. You can schedule your live podcast recording ahead of time so you can promote it on your newsletter, for example, or on your social media. You can post it up on Instagram stories and use the link sticker so that you can drive people from Instagram to your live recording and bring even more awareness to your podcast this way. You can post it on LinkedIn, you can post it on TikTok, you can post it in different places. So then you're driving traffic back to the live recording and creating a buzz around your live podcast recording, and more so to your podcast this way. Like I said earlier, you're also able to engage with your audience in real time. So you can connect with your audience. You can say hello to them in real time. They can message and comment back to you in the live chat. They can also ask questions of you. You can do a solo episode, or you can have a guest, and they can interact with your guest as well, and gives them a really cool way to access and get access to the connections that you have and ask your guests questions, which is really cool. And so allows you to really build this connection every single time you're recording. And so you're probably wondering what happens after the live stream. So after the live stream, for example, if you're doing this on YouTube Live, after the live stream, you can then unlist your live replay so that people can just easily access it on your channel on YouTube. With StreamYard, you can then download a copy of that replay, edit it for your podcast, and then re-upload it and republish it to YouTube podcast and all the other podcast platforms that you're publishing your podcast on. So to grow your video podcast fast, remember to collaborate with fellow creators for wider exposure. Promote your podcast on social media with engaging teasers and highlight clips. Foster a sense of community by engaging with your audience. Optimize your video titles and your thumbnails for clickability. And go live to connect with your audience in real time. Make sure you use StreamYard for that. Shout out to StreamYard. Get out there, apply these strategies, and watch your podcast flourish, and let us know how it goes. And again, if we haven't met yet, my name is Rob Balasabas. I love being here on the StreamYard channel. If you're looking for more ways to take your podcast to the next level, be sure to check out the video on screen or the one we've got linked down below. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.